So this time on Custom Works, things haven't gone to plan at all. Oh dear, this week has not gone well. So, earlier on in the week, what we did was the heater wasn't working, well the fan wasn't working in the car. So I took the heater box out, which was a right load of trouble. Lots of rusted in bolts, bolts that needed cutting out, it was so bad. But in the end, I got it out. Once we got it out, we realised there was a lot of debris in, not just in the heater box, but the drain hole had, that was blocked up. So water had been accumulating in this part of the engine. So down here on that shelf in there, water had been accumulating because this pipe here was blocked up. So we got the Hoover in there. We cleaned everything out, cleaned everything up, rewired the fan to the heater box, cleaned out the heater matrix, put it all back together. And the heater worked. Ta-da! Brilliant. But the car wouldn't start. So I fixed the heater and now the car won't even start. So I have a bit of an investigation around where I've been working. Where I've been working and where the drain hose was blocked, that we've now unblocked, there was a multi-plug. On closer inspection of the multi-plug was really corroded and some of the wires had popped out as my hand had touched the wires undoing the bolts to get the heater box out. Now, already there was enough wires out that, you know, the wires had got mixed up and the multi-plug was absolutely ruined by the damp and the puddling that had happened because the drain pipe was blocked. So I thought I'll cut out the multi-plug and then just reconnect all the wires and the car will start. And I thought what I can do, I'll use some of that like Lego stuff you have in your house to link the wires so I can link them back together, make sure it works. And yeah, things didn't go well at all. I don't really do electrics. So let's have a look at the problem. So here we have, again using the Lego stuff just to see if we could get it right. This is linked up and as good as I can get it, the car turns over but the car doesn't start with everything linked back up. I've had an auto electrician look at this and hopefully this weekend the auto electrician will be coming back to rewire the whole ignition system and maybe cut out, well definitely we're going to cut out, there's a fuel cut-off switch inside a taxi, there's a fuel cut-off switch at the front of the taxi. Now, if anyone's thinking of building a pickup truck or anything over a taxi, keeping this original running gear, this bit of rewiring, I will try to pay attention and take note of, you know, what we're getting rid of. Because to get rid of all the cutouts and stuff on this would really benefit the taxi. So when things go wrong and it won't start, you don't know what else might be wrong. But this is going to simplify all the wiring and hopefully it will be back to it. That's why in this week's episode we're not at the MOT station because the car don't work. We're not taking it out for a test drive again because the car don't work. And well basically that's it. But I really wanted to get it for MOT'd. I really wanted to take it for a test drive. None of that's happened because of bloody electrical stuff. Oh. But what we are going to be doing in this episode is bonding in, cutting out, bonding in that rear window, and also we're going to be doing some stuff on the interior, making that look really nice. Right, and so we're looking at the back window of the truck. Obviously we've got to make a back window because it's a truck that I've made, and there's no window that fits it. So I've made, wow, when I say a rough template, this really is. This is shocking, isn't it? It's the only cardboard I had. And I've got this piece of acrylic. Now when you're doing this, you always want acrylic. Acrylic's your best thing because it scratches less and you know, you can clean it and it won't be all scratched, won't yellow in the sun, stuff like that. So nice sheet of acrylic, template. Can you guess what's going to happen then? So I'm going to put that on there, I'm going to draw around it, I'm going to cut this out, and then I'll probably spend about I know, like 2 hours trying to make it fit perfectly. I've cut around that, and I've got to say that went really bad. Seemed like the jigsaw was chipping the edges. Hopefully we'll sand those down. Something on the bottom of the jigsaw, I don't know if some debris got caught under it off it, but it's like broke the it's broke these bits here. Hopefully that's not scratched it, or it's not scratched it so bad that I can't just polish that out. But yeah, that did not go well at all. It's a bit of a nightmare. It was really hard to cut. I didn't like that. Anyway, I'm going to sand the edge a bit, and let's go for the first trial fit. The angle grinder never lets you down. Probably my favourite tool. Hey, if you've got a favourite tool, why not put it in the comments below? Or probably don't, it's a waste of time, isn't it? Right, so offering that up, it doesn't look quite as bad as I thought. I've got some tight spots around here, so what I'm going to do is going to mark those with the marker pen, and hopefully we'll be able to just sand a few bits off here, and then it'll fit perfectly. Fits nice, and I'm going to mark out where I'm going to want my black line on the back to hide all of this. And I don't know if you can see this. Look, it's just rough rebate on the inside that this is going to bond up to. So I'm going to mark my black line for where the bonding line is going to be on the back of this, and then we'll take it over to the bench and we'll do that bit. Okay, and so I made some marks there, really rough, like rough marks, but that just shows me like the maximum amount of scruffy rebate that I've got to hide. So now to tidy that up, and for that I'm going to be using this piece of 3B Turner marker pen, and hopefully this is all going to go really well. Okay, so we've done that, and what we're going to do, I'm going to peel off the bit I don't need. Now, what I can check here, I can check what I did on this side, and what does look like a scratch there. These look like deep scratches, but they are just scratches, thankfully, in the protective layer, and the protective layers really work there. I think there's a clue in the title. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to sand up the edge, make sure that, because this edge is still a bit sort of bobbly off the angle grinder, I'm going to clean up that edge. And then, even though this is a day when most things have gone a little bit wrong, I'm going to lightly sand this bit before I black it. I have had trouble when you're using acrylic sometimes, it's just too shiny for like the silicone to stick to. On this with some PU adhesive. I know I did say silicone earlier, but you do have to be quite careful with silicone on acrylic because it can sometimes craze it. So I'm going to go with the PU sealant, polyurethane. I know it's not going to damage that. I've got the key. I got the secret. I've got the key and everything, so I can just put that on and it should all be okay. So let's go. What I'm going to do now is there's my masked edge there. I'm going to try and get this so it's feathers, so it's thinner near the masked edge. So I'm just putting more pressure down on that side of the spreader. And that is looking pretty good. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it round, have a look what it looks like from the other side before I take the masking off. Now you can't see exactly what's going on there, but to me, that is looking pretty good. So that looks great, everything's good. Leave that overnight and we'll bond it in tomorrow. Right, and so we've left this back window to dry overnight, and you know, from this side you can see, I don't know if the camera can see that. You see, it's got this nice thick black edge. What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this protective layer on, but look, nice clean line, nice and uniform all the way round. So now what we're going to do is bomb this into the back of the truck. But first what I'm going to do is just go around with a knife, get any bits of excess sealant, anything like that off the edge, just so that this all goes in lovely. I've ran these couple of bungees round, trapped them in the doors, and then what I'll do is use that pressure to hold the glass in place. Always be careful when you're using bungees because they can fly off things with hilarious consequences. As I put this in, I've got to put a run of sealant all the way around in here. Now what you've got to think is, I need some splurge so it seals, not too much splurge, and not like too little sealant that I get no seal. And if you think back to before, when we were marking out this black stripe around, you know, the black stripe, the wider you can sort of have it, the more splurge you can have. So we've got quite a nice wide band there, but it's going to look nice and sort of factory. That can go in. We can have the right amount of splurge, and you've got a nice sealed back window forever. Okay, so there we go. It's in, we've got the bungee round. I've had no, you know, like splurge over the nice clean line of the black edge there. It's all looking pretty good. Just pat this off with these lumps of foam, and yeah, I think that is it. Tomorrow we'll take all this off, back window done. We've got to take a look here at the interior. As you can see, the interior of this, like the roof is just made of loads of bits of steel because the roof needed a lot of patching up. It had, of course, it had the sunroof, had the taxi sign, all that's been plated, and on the outside it's fiberglassed over, but in here that still looks a mess. Going down to the back here, we've just got raw fiberglass. That's never a good look, so we need to cover all of that. And then on these bits, you know, we've got just old taxi bare metal. So we need to do something good with that. Of course, we've got the fake dash that covers all of this sort of maelstrom of decay and sort of like 80s plastic. What we're going to do, we're going to cover all this in that sort of 3D stretch car carpet like you put around base bins and stuff. It's a really good way of getting a really quick and easy headliner. It's just a great way of, you know, making it seem like your car's got a full interior. We'll carpet the floors in that, but put mats down. And also, of course, this has got the Rolls-Royce black leather seats, so they'll match in with the black theme set off by the, you know, sort of metallic grey grille. Should look really nice. And I've got to say, it's so easy to do this as an interior to a car. So many times you see cars at shows and they've not got an interior, but just get some leather seats. You can paint the leather to whatever colour you want, and then, you know, just some of this sort of 3D stretch carpet, and instantly your car seems just a lot more finished and like, you know, the real deal. And of course, if you actually plan on driving it, makes it a lot more of a comfortable place. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's get this covered. Right, so I've cut a piece of this like 3D stretch fabric that like you line the back of vans with and stuff. I've done that, and I'm going to put some contact adhesive on there and let that dry, ready for it to go on. I've cut it way bigger than it needs to be, and always do this. You get it up in the middle, and by the time you've got all of those curves in, you will always take up like way more material than you think you're gonna. So let's get some glue on this, and then let's look at preparing the inside of the roof of the pickup for the lining. Right, so inside the truck, here we've got the roof. Now, I'm using really good, like this trim fix spray adhesive, which is so good, way better than what you get, you know, at Screw Fix, their contact adhesive. And usually, if you go on eBay, you get loads of cans of the glue with the roll of fabric. So, you know, that stuff is really good. However, if you just stick the headlining up just with that on a really sunny day, and it don't matter what it says on the can, those few really hot days we have, it will always start to sag or start to bubble. So what I'm going to do, before I put the contact adhesive on, I'm going to run over here in just a simple sort of zigzag pattern with some PU sealant. Now what will happen is, I'll put the PU sealant on, then I'll put the contact adhesive on, then I'll put the fabric on. As I smooth the fabric out, the contact adhesive will meet the fabric and hold it on. But more importantly, the PU adhesive will stick it there forever and it will never fall down. Right, so we're ready, sort of moment of truth. We're going to put this in there. What I'm going to do, I'll pick it up, fold it so the two clean sides are like against each other, get in there, guesstimate the middle of the cab, stick it on, work out from the middle outwards, one side, then the other side, and then it'll be done. And if ever you think, oh, it sounds daunting, it'll be everywhere, it'll be like wallpaper in a ceiling or anything, don't worry, this stuff's really cheap. You cock it up, you can do it again and again and again, you'll get it right. And you know what, it's not that hard. So, here we go, let's watch it. I pretty much guarantee I'm going to cock it up, but I might get it right, who knows. This little roller that we use for fiberglass, and I've cleaned it up. I'm just going over this, just so it makes sure everything's nicely stuck down, and also make sure that all of that PU sealant is flattened out and squidged good to hold that up there for many, many years. Right, and so now, because I cut it so big, there's a bit of trimming to do, so I'm going to trim around this, get all the edges nice, and we'll move on to the next piece. Okay, so when it comes to these bits on the edge of the door, this might be the blindingly obvious, but always put that over, because then your door seal hammers onto there and it holds everything nice, tight and securely. Okay, so between the roof and this back panel, we've now got a join. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make a strip to go over that join. I'm going to cut it, fold the sides in so it's nice and neat, stick that up there, and it will just look that little bit nicer. There we have our patch for in the back. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to run some more glue along there so these edges are glued. Then I'll paint in the back of the cab with the glue. And don't forget, when you're putting one bit over another, you spray the line of glue, you get some glue on the black. Because it's black, you can always just go over some matte black, rattle can matte black. Same as all that glue black again, and you can't see it. So you've not even got to be tidy with the glue doing this. It really is, it's just so easy, you cannot go wrong. Is the ceiling done and the back panel. Like I said, I'm going to go around with some matte black and just tidy that up. I'll show you that in a bit. But for now, I'm just going to cover every other thing. So I'm going to cover all of the floor, all of these bits. I'm just going to cover everything until everything's covered in black carpet. There's no nasty bits showing. Then we'll put a bit of matte black on it just to get rid of the dirty edges. And then we'll start to fit the seats. Okay then, so I did the carpet, I fitted the seats, this lower part of the seats, fitted the dashboard, which is sprayed in the same colour as the car but in a gloss finish, and also this awesome steering wheel, and made this cool bullet detail for the centre. Okay then, so next time, hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be actually MOT-ing. I know I've said it before, I say a lot of things though, but yeah, hopefully next time, MOT-ing, test drive, driving shots, full tour of the truck. I promise that all might happen. And in the meantime, it would seem I've knocked a wall down in the workshop. Anyway, until next time, press subscribe, thumbs up for likes, leave comments down below. I'm sure you know all of that stuff. In the meantime, thank you very much and good night.